Sure, the heroes are always going to be the ones who deserve our undying love, but the villains deserve some of it too. After all, you can't have great heroes without great villains to test their limits. Which of these villains rank the highest? Well, sit back, grab some snacks, and let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome to 90s Nostalgia. Today, we'll be sharing our picks for the top 10 villains in Jonny Quest. No, not the real adventures of Jonny Quest. We're actually going to take a look back at the one that started it all, so expect the footage to look a little bit dated. Consider this a special episode. If you enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to 90s Nostalgia, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our countdowns regarding everything 90s. That being said, let's get started. Number 10. Francisco. Out of all the pirates that took part in assaulting Jonny and the gang in this episode, Francisco was definitely the meanest out of the lot. Even though his poor choice and actions were what caused his own downfall, he still stood out as one of the bigger threats in the episode. I mean, any guy that throws a dog out of a ship into a large body of water is immediately an awful person. But did it even occur to him that dogs could swim? We're not ranking these based on who's the smartest villain, but he definitely deserves the lowest spot for that. Number 9. Singh. When have you ever seen a mad scientist not be a crazed villain? Aside from maybe Rick and Morty, which, to be fair, he is sort of a villain in his own weird way. Well, Sing's favorite evil projects usually consisted of altering existing creatures and enlarging them to monstrous proportions. What makes this even shakier was the fact that he actually asked Dr. Quest to help him in the process. These alterations did end up being the cause of his death though. Number 8. Pierre. He may not be a crazed scientist or a pirate, but he definitely isn't a wolf either. Pierre would cover himself in real wolf skin and pretended to be the actual animal just to keep outsiders from discovering his operations at a logging mill. He even hid gold inside of hollowed out logs. What's ironic is that he ended up being attacked by an actual wolf before ultimately being captured. Number 7. The Chief. Not having an official name, the Chief intended on destroying the first US Man on the Moon mission, but it backfired. Right after Dr. Quest mentions how the lasers could be used as a terrible weapon, the Chief ends up being the one to use them as such. But when shooting the Quest ship, the laser was reflected back to his own ship, causing a tremendous explosion which we presume killed him. Number 6. Dean. A maniac who's surprisingly very productive despite being wheelchair bound. Well, the reason he even manages to get so much done is mostly attributed to his malicious way of enslaving large groups of natives to do his filthy labor for him. We're not entirely sure how on earth he managed to tame Turu, but there was a genuine bond between the two, so much that they both ended up meeting their fates together. Number 5. Lieutenant Singh. On the realistically scary side of things, a policeman who's secretly a person who intends to harm you is never a secure feeling. Lieutenant Singh might look like a nice guy on the outside, but under that entire facade lies a really bad guy. This police officer really tried to send a bomb to the Quest hotel room before kidnapping the boys along with Bandit. Despite all that, Dr. Quest was the one who ended up helping Lieutenant Singh when his life nearly ended from a car accident. It shows that being the better person always pays off. Number 4. Dr. Ashida. Similarly to Singh, Dr. Ashida was a brilliant scientist that altered living lizards to mutate them into dragons, which he named after himself. This odd choice of naming derives from his undeniable ego, which ends up getting the best of him. In hand-to-hand combat with Race, he loses and doesn't take it very well. While attempting to use his dragons to do his dirty work for him, his plan backfired, and it was his own dragons that killed him in the very end. Number 3. Sumi. You could say Dr. Ashida should be placed in front of Sumi, given that Sumi is technically a henchman after all. But look at the size of this guy. You're telling me Sumi wouldn't be able to crush Dr. Ashida like a bag of grapes? He's easily more intimidating, stronger, and despite being beaten by Race and his agility, let's not forget he's the one who threw Dr. Ashida into a pit along with the Ashida dragons after shifting his paradigm and realizing he shouldn't be bossed around anymore. There's a reason Sumi is still alive, while Dr. Ashida isn't. Number 2. Dr. Ahmed Kareem. This Egyptian national blamed Dr. Quest for the theft of valuable archaeological finds as a means of uniting the Arab nations. His biggest flaw was definitely picking Dr. Quest as his outsider to blame, since that's the same as digging your own grave in most cases. He was even acquainted with Dr. Quest, going as far as referring to him as an old friend. So why he would idiotically try to rope him into issues like that is beyond me. Number 1. Dr. Zin. Of course, you can't have anyone else on number 1 if it isn't Dr. Zin, who happens to be Dr. Quest's archenemy, rocking a Fu Manchu mustache. A lot of the villains we see throughout the show are henchmen belonging to this very guy, and aside from being obsessed with world domination, power, and wealth, he's simply the biggest thorn in everyone's side. But he still falls short whenever he comes across Dr. Quest, so maybe he'll learn the hard way sooner or later. Who says villains can't be loved too? Without them, our heroes wouldn't really be heroes, now would they? But what do you think? Did you enjoy our list? What villains from other shows do you think deserve the same attention? Share them with us in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to 90s Nostalgia so you can keep up with our wide array of countdowns regarding everything 90s. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.